If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, loud. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter, he's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stacked that he knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This old rhapsody better go back to this moment and hope it don't pass him.
Listen, we can talk about the flag, but let's talk about Wait.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Football Friday right here on Trending in the AM. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. Smash the like button. Smash the retweet button. Share button. Let's have some fun today as we talk football. We're going to talk a little basketball. We're going to talk so much stuff today. We actually have a jam-packed show. I wish I was still in Fort Myers, Florida, where I didn't have, work to get to right after the show, because this show could go an hour and a half to 2 hours today because I'm super pumped. I can't even get my words out because we got such a jam-packed show of topics today. We're brought to you by Manscaped here, as all shows on DSM Media are. Check them out, manscaped.com, the leader in men's grooming products, the GOAT and below-the-waist maintenance. Make sure you check them out. Use promo code DSM at checkout. Get you 20% off free shipping, and let them know Team DSM sent you. There's a lot of podcasts out there that use Manscaped as a promotional tactic. Make sure you use your favorite podcast promo code DSM Media. Support us. Don't support the others. Support us. It would help us out greatly. I am Phil Stiefel, your host, at Beard and Knowledge on Twitter. Make sure you shoot me a follow. I'm joined by my co-host, Jason Voorhees, at Mustang3651. Got to ask you, Jason, it's Football Friday, but it's Batman Friday for you. You've got tickets to go see Batman later today. You got to be excited about that.
Dude, I'm extremely pumped. Batman's to me, Batman's always been my favorite, as far as like the comic book characters. And obviously there's been different variations. I used to watch the show religiously as a young kid with Adam West. That was like, classic, obviously. Classic Batman. Then you had Adam Keaton. Michael Keaton. I actually loved, that version of Batman. My favorite version, I got to be honest with you, is probably Christian Bale. And I think that trilogy was probably the best put together as far as like just total, plot, and as far as how the movie was put together. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously
Overreaction Monday is going to start off with your Batman review, just so you know.
Okay. Sounds like
whether you're going to say it's the greatest of all time or the junk. I just hope you're prepared for the 3-hour trek that the Batman movie is. I've been reading about. I hate when superhero movies are 3 hours long, and I heard Batman, the Batman, gets close to 3 hours long.
Yeah, I did hear good reports. I heard good reviews so far.
We already got my man Gio Framda. He's waiting to see if he wins this shirt. That's why he's checking it today. He wants to win today. He says it was great. Wish I was on today. I wish you were on today, Mark, too. So real quick, before we get our guest on, because he's going to be joining us shortly here, we got this great T-shirt giveaway going. I was going to do it at 8:30. I'm going to wait a few minutes. I'm going to do our interview here with our guest, and then at 9 o'clock when that interview wraps up, it gives you an extra 25 minutes to enter the contest. Go over to the DSM Twitter page, at DSM_media. Enter. I came up with this idea for the Sixers Bunch T-shirt. My man Willie Da Vinci, a friend of Scotty Drown, takes my ideas and makes them reality. This is what came up. It's a hot shirt. You got to get it today on the DSM T-shirt site. It's on TeePublic. It's linked all on the DSM Media Twitter page bio. Check it out. We got lots of great T-shirt designs there, but dude, this is straight fire. I love it. It came out better than I thought. It's got everybody. The starting five: Danny Green, Daryl Morey, Doc Rivers. So make sure you go enter that contest now, so that at 9 o'clock when I do the giveaway, you got a chance. So as we wait for I'm sorry?
That was a great idea, Phil. I
I'm
love
full of
it.
great ideas. I just can't implement the ideas. I need help implementing my ideas.
That's okay.
Yeah. So we got Football Friday today. So we're going to be joined shortly here by a man. His name's Stephon Rucker-Carroll. He's another one of the clients over at Pro Level Sports Agency. He was in the USFL draft. He didn't get drafted, but that doesn't mean anything because supplemental draft, and they'll be adding players to their teams as the season gets started here in April. We'll be joined by him shortly. We're going to talk the NFL Combine, obviously, because that's been going on this week. And Howie, Nick Sirianni have spoken. And we got the giveaway, and we got the Sixers playing again tonight. You know, the start of the Cavaliers, the start of that 4-game stretch that was ever so difficult. So we're just patiently waiting for our guest to join us now. I don't want to start a conversation, until, when the guy's going to come on any second. So keep talking about the Batman.
Yeah, well, like I was saying previously, Christian Bale was my favorite, but I also did enjoy Ben Affleck. So I was a little bit disappointed that he wasn't doing this one. But like I said, all the reviews are saying it was very good. So, I mean, the thing with Batman that always, rings true is that obviously not when he's Bruce Wayne, but whoever, obviously is under the the mask. It's kind of like if you're a good actor, you should be able to pull that off. Like it's not really a character that, I don't know. It's not like, I'm trying to think of another one. Like it's not like Superman where you could see the face.
Right.
I think it's easier to probably pull a character off when there's a mask.
I almost think it's more important when you play Batman to be a good Bruce Wayne than it is to be Batman.
Yes.
You got to be able to pull off the Bruce Wayne part of it. That's where I'm concerned with this guy, Patterson, whatever his name is. I'm just gonna think of him turning into a werewolf or a zombie or whatever it was in that chick flick movie that he was in before.
I will say I do like having a new villain. The Riddler's in it, and obviously, because so many Batmans like recent past obviously have had the Joker. Joker's all time to me. I actually like Joker better than Batman, believe it or not. I've always been attracted to the villain in these kind of shows. But
if you live long enough, you turn into the villain, right?
Exactly. I am the villain.
You are the villain.
Yeah. The Riddler to me is a pretty cool character. It's not one that obviously. I guess what would have been cool to me in the trilogy if they would have had more. If they would have played out maybe a separate offshoot and did one on obviously they couldn't because he what's his name?
Heath Ledger.
Well, Heath Ledger obviously passed away, so they couldn't do another Joker with that. But if they could have done Two-Face, like another offshoot, maybe just did just a Two-Face show.
Right.
Because that character's pretty cool too.
That's
to
a great
me. And I thought he did a great. Who was that actor? I can't remember
his name off that.
His name.
You're trying to dig deep in my Batman knowledge here, and I don't have the deep Batman.
You're not ready. You're not prepared.
I'm not prepared for this.
We're just prepared.
We're going to wait for the guy for Mr. Carroll to come on. We're just going to start talking football because I can't talk. Batman for very long here. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm disappointing you with my lack of Batman knowledge. To quote the crew of the Millennial Falcon, I have a bad feeling about this. Yeah, absolutely. Cesar Romano and Heath Ledger.
Okay, that's who it was. Cesar Romero.
All right, so football combine is going on, and before we get into specifics and all about it, how do you feel about the combine? Do you think these kids are put too much under the microscope and like there was talk yesterday about one of the quarterbacks and how he had 8.5-inch hands or something like that, and they're breaking apart every little fine detail. It's almost like they're dissecting these kids a little too much at this point, and it puts a lot of pressure on these kids. What they have to go through for this week at the combine.
Yes and no. I part of me agrees with you that yes, it does put added pressure to people, but let's not forget it is the NFL, and you have to kind of have some kind of way to narrow out, the great from the good. So I guess, a lot of these athletes, they have all the athletic talent. If they're already in the combine, we talked about this. Like,
Right.
if you make the NFL, you're talented. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're not some schmuck that can't play. But what I think that these other aptitude tests and all these other things where they check this hand size, I mean, I guess they've done studies like as far as like quarterbacks, and they've shown like that there's not too many quarterbacks with smaller hands that have success in the NFL. Not that it can't happen. Like, obviously, there's always going to be a what if, or a one-off, or a situation where somebody kind of rises above what the expectations are, or what the standard is. But for the most part, if they've said that like quarterbacks need bigger hands in the NFL. It's just I don't know what it is. I heard it.
Supposedly,
Like a whole hour podcast talking about this. Believe it or not.
Supposedly 8.5-inch hands is small. I don't know. I mean, I can't palm a basketball, but I don't know how many inches that is. I don't have a measuring tape here to tell. But I know when I was a kid I could throw a football pretty well. I don't know. I just think it's the NFL Combine. See, and I think this is more me, old school mentality, which I talked about the other day, how I'm trying to adjust to changes in rules and sports and stuff like that, and evolving sports, and trying to accept that. The one thing I can't accept is the over-the-top analytical aspect of sports. I understand a little bit of analytics need to go into it, but I feel like the Combine is pushing the analytics even further. I understand the 40-yard dash. People want to know how fast you can run, but how often do people actually need to run? You never actually run a 40-yard dash. Not even a wide receiver on a Hail Mary play, because you still got to make a step or make a move to juke out the cornerback, or you still got to run on a semi-not straight line to get separation. So a lot of the drills they do, I understand it's analytical, and they're spending too much time on, instead of running a 40-yard dash. I don't need to see an offensive lineman run a 6.0 40-yard dash. What good is that going to do for me? It's not.
You're spot on. Like, I've always said that the 40-yard dash is probably one of the most one of the most overrated metrics that they use in the entire NFL. Because I've seen wide receivers that have done terrible on the 40-yard dash, and then you see them in the NFL, and you watch the game film with the eye test, and you say, that guy's freaking fast.
Right.
And they ran a shitty time at the 40. So I don't go by anything with the 40-yard dash. I think John Ross was the record holder up until yesterday. It was broken. I forget the guy's name that broke it, but someone just broke the record yesterday. John Ross has yet to do anything in the NFL. I think he's in his 6th year.
Right.
So what did that get him? He's a fast guy that can't catch the football. To me, wide receiver, the most important metrics that you should be looking at are catch radius and ability to separate and run routes. Right. That's the metrics that matter to me.
Run a 40-yard dash, right. You should be running routes with a cornerback draped all over you. You should be, you should be able to, I want to see a quarterback do, instead of throwing balls to wide open receivers, make them run. I'd rather more of Senior Bowl kind of, stuff.
I agree with you.
Or the quarterback challenge that we see Pro Bowl weekend, where you got moving targets that you've got to hit, and you'll have, instead of the quarterback in the quarterback challenge of Pro Bowl weekend can pick targets, you'll have the quarterback drop back, have 5 targets moving around, and have somebody standing next to him throw to number 3, and he's got to zip that ball. Whether he's got to turn around, go to 3 right away, go to 2 right away, whatever it may be. You might get a little bit better of an understanding who these guys are than that. I don't need to see the high jump. Do I care if what's his name, Tyler Lindblom, the guy that's going to be maybe Jason Kelsey's replacement someday? I don't care if he can jump 4 feet high, 7 feet high. That's not going to really make a difference playing center. So they got so many drills. It's this analytics aspect that kind of, I don't know. I just think it's too much.
Unfortunately, analytics aren't going away. And I look at all these leagues, and it's pretty much permeated the 4 walls of every league. I think baseball probably has been the worst where that's happened, where you see, even the kids today that, they're taught to, either hit a home run or strike out. That's how bad it's gotten. It's went to the actual little league level. And that's when there's a problem, because I'm not against analytics per se, but I'm that guy that says that it needs to be a balance. There has to be reality involved. And when you take reality out of the game, not only does it make the game boring, but to me, it ruins the game. Like, you definitely can see it in baseball. I mean, I miss the days of guys that hit 300 when you had 7 or 8 guys that were hitting over 300. That doesn't happen now. You look at the stat line, there might be 2 guys that hit 340, and then everyone's around that 300 or under. And that's because of analytics. Mm-hmm. Everyone's trying to hit a home run. They don't care. They tell you, don't worry if you strike out. And that, to me, is nonsense. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want a guy that doesn't strike out and puts the ball in play. That's what I want. But, these young, nerds, and you see it even on Twitter, they'll attack you when you attack analytics. And it's like, dude, you're an idiot. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Stop being a kiss ass and be real about the game. I watched the game for 40 years. I'm not some guy that just says, something just to say it. You and I have lived and breathed. Baseball was our passion. And a lot of the reason why it's not my passion is because of this. Analytics is ruining sports. It really is.
So let's talk about the Eagles and the combine and stuff like that. Hold on one second. So anyway, Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, they spoke the other day after interviewing. And this is a very important offseason for the Eagles. It obviously is. Had a great turnaround last year. We've got 10 draft picks, 4 of them in the first 51, 3 in the first round. And there's a lot of holes to fill. We got the cap space. We got the draft picks. And I don't want to spend the time talking about whether there'll be a winner next year. I want to talk about how important this combine and this draft is. And Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni. So the first question I got to say, they said it again. They reiterated it again, that they're sold on Jalen Hurts and they want to build around Jalen Hurts. So the first question is, how long can we believe Howie Roseman? I actually believe, if Nick Sirianni says it with Howie Roseman not around, I kind of believe Nick Sirianni, but we know Nick Sirianni will do whatever Howie Roseman says. Do you believe Howie Roseman that he is entering this season and not trying to get Russell Wilson or whoever the guy is? Do you believe him?
It's funny. Generally speaking, I would always say no, I don't. I don't have I believe it. He's just throwing words out there. I don't think he's going to ever show you his cards. And that's one thing I do like about Howie Roseman. So I don't think he's necessarily lying. I think they really do want to try to move forward with Hurts. But if something comes available, they're always going to be open to it. It's the Eagles. This is Howie Roseman. We know how they operate.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that, and I kind of agree. But, he made a statement, and how do I say this? He said he likes having options.
Yeah, well,
but not talking about the quarterback. He was talking about how he was able to trade back and then trade back up last year to get more, having all these assets, to use the Sam Hinkie term. Having all these assets puts them in a position, and everyone started talking about how he started interviewing all these quarterbacks, this week at the combine, and it got me thinking. He's not interviewing these quarterbacks because he wants to draft Carson Strong in the first round or Kenny Pickett in the second round or whatever it may be. He's interviewing these guys so that the other teams see him interviewing these guys. And that brings in more. Everybody talks about Howie Roseman's cap management as his strength. I don't think so. I think his ability to make trades, especially on draft day, is one of his most underappreciated talents he has. And last year was a perfect example of that. Trading from 6 to 12, picking up another first-round pick, and then going back up to 10 and not having to – I mean, to me, I believe Howie to an extent right now because he just wants people to think we're interested in a quarterback. I think he's sold to an extent on Jalen Hurts. And he's just hoping that other GMs see him interviewing one of these guys and then goes and says, hey, I need this guy. I'll trade up with you. You'll pick up this X, Y, and Z pick. And I think that's where it goes.
Howie's best trait is manipulation. That's exactly what he's doing.
He manipulates us and he manipulates the other GMs.
That's exactly what he's doing. You're right. That's why he's doing it, because he does it to basically produce an image that he's actually interested in these quarterbacks, when in reality there's no way in hell that they're drafting a quarterback in the first round. I know years past we would have not believed that, but I believe he's doing it to set the precedence that, hey guys, this is what we're doing. Because then you're right. Teams that want a quarterback, say there's someone coming up to pick 15 and there's a quarterback available. Howie gets the phone call. Hey, we really need that quarterback. Okay, well, give me another second and I'll give it to him. Yeah. Bang, deal done. That is definitely his strength. You're right. And I will never knock Howie for that. He is very good at reading the room and knowing how to basically produce an image that he's doing one thing when in reality his end goal is another.
Right. And it's funny because it made me start thinking of some things. So, people always like to use the term that Howie Roseman is not a football mind, which first off I think is a bogus statement, because he's been with the Eagles for over 20 years now. I mean, he's been dating back. I mean, he's been, back in the Joe Banner days, he started working for the Eagles. But before I get into that point of it, he's a businessman, and a sly businessman always knows how to manipulate your competition. So he's just a really smart businessman. But I don't want to hear that he's not a football mind either. He might not have played football in college, for Alabama, but the guy's been around the Eagles organization for a really long time.
I think there's a fine line. I think people that say that maybe aren't saying it with the idea that he doesn't know anything about football, but I think a lot of people believe that this team is lacking somebody that actually has knowledge that you can't get unless you've played the game, if that makes sense, or unless you've coached the game. I think Howie Roseman has a football sense and a football mind, but as far as evaluating talent, I think it takes a special talent to do that. A lot of times it's somebody that's played the game, whether it was in the college level even or pro, or having coached it. Because there's a different aspect that you can't know if you're just around the team.
I guess
you understand what I'm saying. Like
I know what you're saying, but I think after being in football for 20 years plus in the front office, I think people need to stop using that phrase with him, because it's not like he just.
I don't think so. You're right. I think it's the wrong term to use, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of saying he's not a football mind, how about saying he's not a good talent evaluator, or he's not a good, or just straight facts. He's not good in the first round. Let's just say that, because he's not for the most part.
Well, he was last year.
Yeah. Because
you're like, yeah, okay.
When it comes to a top 10 pick, it's hard to miss. Let's face it.
It is. Well, we'll see how that goes this week. All right. So, a thing that Nick Sirianni took a lot of flack for last year was the paper, rock, scissors thing. Okay. And I tried doing live paper, rock, scissors on my shows last year with guests, and it was a total bomb. It was like one of the worst segments I ever tried to do. But this year he's got a different tactic, and it's shooting hoops. We know Nick Sirianni, he's got a little Nerf hoop brought, and they're shooting little Nerf hoops. He's making them shoot free throws. Of course, that brings in a lot of Ben Simmons and Sixers jokes when the media picked up on that. But he talked about it again. He was asked questions about it again. One of the quarterbacks was asked about what weird thing was Nick Sirianni doing this year, and he said shooting hoops, and he missed 3 out of 5, and that's probably means I'm not going to get drafted now by them or something like that. Some whole joke about it and all. But Nick Sirianni was asked about it, and he said it's a competitiveness thing. And I do think that we overreacted to the paper, rock, scissors thing last year, and are overreacting to this, because actually the more I think about it, the more I like it. And I got other reasons why, but I want to know your initial thoughts on that part of it, that these kind of have nothing to do with the game of football itself, just just as a weird competitive test, when you're one-on-one with these prospects.
Yeah, I think it's a part of team building. I think we definitely overreacted last year to the rock, paper, scissors thing and even the flower. Like, honestly, Nick Sirianni is I like the fact that he's unique. He brings to the table his own personality. I like that. I want that in any coach or manager. You don't want a manager that's robotic. You don't want somebody that just like kind of is like a machine, like in the way they run things. You want somebody that has personality, especially in today's game with these athletes. Dude, they will be turned off in a second if you're that way. They want a guy that's going to be fun and try new things. Like, to me, I think that's cool as hell. Like, I know we laugh about it, but it's, to me, like I said, it's team building. Team building is when you take aspects that have nothing to do with the actual job and you bring them you bring it to the team and get people to kind of rally around, what you're trying to put out there. And I think he's done a great job with it. I think you saw it. I think you saw it even with most fans, where towards the end of the year, we all had to agree that, wow, Nick Sirianni did a really good job this year. When like through week 5, many, including myself, were ready to say, get this guy the hell off our team. I mean, that just shows you cannot overreact too soon in some situations, especially with a new coach, because part of being a new coach is having new ideas.
Right.
And to go from a guy like Doug Peterson, who I love Doug Peterson, I did.
Who should? Everybody should.
To go from a guy like Doug Peterson to Nick Sirianni, Nick had to like kind of show his own personality. And it's stuff like this that I think makes it cool. I love.
I also want to say that I think it's a great icebreaker. You think about it, these guys, these kids, I mean, they got a lot of pressure on their shoulders right now. I mean, they're being picked apart, like I said at the beginning of the show. Piece by piece, picked apart and dissected by GMs. There's a lot of pressure on them. There's a lot of stress involved. You go in and you meet Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni, and the first thing they do is say, let's take a couple shots. Let's see who wins, me or you. I'll put a quarter on the line right now. You can't beat me in pop a shot right now. It kind of loosens up the mood, kind of takes some of the edge off. And then when you start saying, okay, so that's over now, I beat you. I don't know. It kind of takes the stress level down a notch.
Yeah.
It's creating, like when I'm at work, we have a stressful, busy Friday night coming up tonight. I'm going to be goofing around with my staff before the rush starts. I'm going to be making jokes. I'm going to be, playing around, because it takes the edge and the stress off a little bit.
I think you should institute
creating an environment that makes people want to be there and stuff.
I think you should institute your own Nerf football contest there.
I used to have a little rubber ball, a stress ball that we used to throw around and stuff like that, but it got thrown up on top of the freezer once, and I can't reach it. It's been sitting up there for about like 10 years now. But yeah, I mean, dude, you don't know what my freezer looks like. I don't even, just to climb back there, it's not happening. And I'm a big man. Anyway, I like it, and I think we overreact. I mean, I didn't overreact to it much. I made fun of it, but I was okay with it last year, and I'm even more okay with it this year as I've evolved, as I've kept my mind more focused. It's a great thing that he's doing, and I think people are 110% overreacting to it.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree 100%.
All right. So still waiting on Stephon Rucker-Carroll. I've sent him a few messages. We haven't heard from him. So we're just going to keep going on with the show. If he gets to pop on today, we will add him to the show. If not, we'll manage without him. So real quick, we've had a few people. If I've been distracted, it's because I've been adding, more people
Shirts.
to the shirt contest giveaway. Again, I'm going to put the shirt up here. You can get your shirt at the DSM T-shirt sites. It's tpublic.com. Go search DSM, or just go to the DSM Twitter page or Facebook page or Instagram page. In our bios, our link tree. In it, you click the T-shirt site. It'll take you right to our homepage, and you got lots of great shirts on there. But this is where you can get this shirt here. So we're going to take this off the screen. We're going to close that out, and I am going to share the screen. Unfortunately, not too many people followed all the instructions. You got to like things. You've got to retweet them, and you had a tag. So only the people that did all the steps got entered into the contest. So on here, I don't even know who half these people. I know Drunk on Broad. They're good friends of yours. Jones in for Sports. Richard Blauser, good follower of mine. A Lady of Philly. She really wants this. No offense to Gio Famata, who's been commenting on the show. Lady of Philly really wants this shirt. We got Buchadelphia. We got Spider Farley. We got some names here. So I'm just going to spin the wheel. Completely random. Who's going to win, Jay? If you got to put a buck on it, who's going to win this free shirt?
Drunk on Broad.
Drunk on Broad's going to win. All right, I'm going for I'm rooting for my girl Lady. So we're going to spin this wheel and see who gets one of these free shirts from us. Jones in for Sports. I don't even know who that is. Jones in for Sports is the winner. Congratulations. I'll reach out to you on Twitter later today. We'll set up. Sorry, Gio. Gio, I've got a James Harden jersey sitting right here. Spectrum James Harden jersey. I am going to give that away next week. I'm not sure how yet, but I am. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. Yeah, you didn't win this one, but we got the James Harden next week. So make sure you're following everybody.
Congrats to Jones for Sports.
Yeah, congrats to Jones for Sports. Super happy for you. Super excited for you. And where'd my mouse go on my screen here? Sometimes my mouse disappears and I lose track of things here. Congratulations. I'll reach out on Twitter. That's a great shirt. Again, I love it. I have so many shirt ideas. I just need to know how to make them myself. Willie, I can't bug him all the time. He's like a super busy guy. I need to get better at making good graphics on my own. I got so many ideas up here.
I love all the ideas. I'm gonna have to come up with one for you.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we'll get to that. So we might get back to football depending on how the rest of this episode goes. Because we haven't actually done a mock draft this week. We've done mock draft 1.0. We've done mock draft 2.0. I've got it saved on the side. We're going to get to that to close the show. Maybe I'll do a rapid mock draft at the end of the show. But tonight, Sixers play Cavaliers. This is that dreaded stretch that I've been talking about now for about, 2-3 weeks? Tonight, against the Cavaliers, the dreaded stretch starts. Cavaliers, you got the Bulls and the Heat, and you got the Nets. That's as tough of a 4-game stretch as you're going to get at this point in the season. We've seen a lot of success with James Harden, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey. We've seen this, success start pretty well. This is the stretch where, I don't know if it was with you or with Dylan the other day. I was talking about I want to see them face adversity, maybe even lose some games to see how they react to it. How important is it, not just that they win these games, but how they react to the adversity of playing this tough stretch right now?
I mean, adversity is everything. I mean, it was the show that we talked. I think it was Mark and me, and when we talked about embracing losing, because the fact of the matter is, they're sky high right now, and rightfully so. I mean, they've played tremendous basketball, but a lot of times it's the ability to face adversity and then overcome that builds character and actually ultimately helps you become a championship team. If we just went on a 17-game win streak and then start struggling towards the end of the playoffs, I'd rather get the kinks out now. That way, come playoff time, we're right and primed to go forward. With that being said, I could see them. I know it's a tough stretch, but I could see them going 3-1 in these 4 games. I just the way that this team is playing right now, I don't think there's anybody that they can't beat. That's how good they are right now. I mean, you got Embiid and Harden firing on all cylinders. Harden's playing his best basketball of this season, more so in trend to where his prime seasons were. I mean, he's back on a level of that we didn't think that he could even get to, because a lot of people were saying he was washed, which was absolute nonsense.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just think this team right now, man, I don't think they're
you know what I look at? I look at the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers are a really good team. They're in a slight downward trend. They've lost 2 in a row. They've only won. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're still a really good team. They're in 6th spot right now. They're 10 games over 500. They're 36-26. We are a 7-point favorite at this moment against this team. You don't a great team like them. There's no way that that we should be a 7-point favorite unless we are playing such at an elite level, which we are. So I'm excited for it, but 3-1. I mean, I'm just thinking about that statement you made, and I'm just struggling to come to terms that I think, can we? Sure.
Why?
I think.
Why are you struggling when you see the product that they're putting out there?
Because I don't know. I just think that it's going to be a speed bump. I'd rather it be against these good teams so that the fans should say, "Oh, we just lost to the Heat and the Bucks or the Bulls. It's okay. They were just good teams and we haven't gelled." If we go and lose a couple games like the Orlando Magic or the Knicks or something later down the line, I'm going to be like, "Oh, the fan base is going to be overreacting beyond belief." So it's part of that. But the key thing about winning these games is we are now officially in the second spot because of our 4-game winning streak, some losses by some other teams. Bulls have lost 3 in a row. We're 2.5 games out in the Heat, but we are in the number 2 seat right now. And first off, the Bucks and the Celtics are playing great basketball, and they're slowly starting to creep up, as I expected them to. We beat the Heat, we beat the Bulls, we beat the Cavaliers. It helps us in the standings big time. Big time. And the one thing that we're starting to see, it's taken a long time this season, we're starting to see the cream and crop separate. Like there was a point in time where the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 seed were like 2 games total apart. You kept seeing the Sixers go from 4 to 7 to 6 to 8 to 5. We're 2.5 from first, but we're a full 2.5 games out of the 6th spot. We're a full 4.5 out of the playing games. So we're starting to separate ourselves, and winning some of these games helps us get close to that number 1 seed. But it also helps to separate us from the bottom, help lock in that first round home court, which I think is really, really important.
Yeah, I mean, dude, listen, my expectations for this team went, when we got Harden, went from, possibly winning a playoff round to, dude, I'm not going to lie. I feel like this is a championship team. I just do. I know that we say if there are weaknesses, it's their bench. And I agree, our bench isn't that strong. But honestly, I really don't see anybody that scares me. Even the Suns, I'm not scared.
Well, especially the Suns, if Chris Paul does not come back. Well, he hurt his thumb, he tore a ligament. They say he'll be back by playoff time. I don't know, something like that, whatever. You talk about the bench. So something that, I want to talk about is DeAndre Jordan. He was obviously cut. Sixers have picked him up. I doubt he'll be available to play tonight. He was just picked up yesterday. I doubt he'll be out there. And I see 2 different things all over social media, and both of them are wrong. Everybody's freaking, "Oh, we got DeAndre Jordan, one of the greatest. He's going to be such a great backup, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah. We're winning a title." Guys, it's DeAndre Jordan. And then I see people saying, "Oh, my God, DeAndre Jordan's a bum. He just got cut by the Lakers. Obviously, he's got nothing left." Again, relax. It's still DeAndre Jordan. There's 2 big extremes going on with DeAndre Jordan. When really, in reality, in the middle of those 2 big extremes, he's a guy that's going to play 10. He's DeAndre Jordan. He's going to play 10 minutes a game. Some games he's going to play 5, and Paul Millsap's going to play 5. Some games he's going to play 0, and Paul Millsap's going to play 10 minutes. That's all you need out of your backup center at this point is 10 minutes. 12 minutes maybe. People need to relax. Let's not overhype DeAndre Jordan pickup. It's a good pickup. I'm not trying to call you out saying you love it, because I love it too. I think I said along Willie Cauley-Stein wasn't the answer. Paul Millsap plays great in that small ball role, but you can't play small ball against every single team. So, while I don't want him to take minutes away from Paul Millsap, technically, you could hypothetically run Millsap and Jordan out there at the same time. Let's not overhype the move, and let's not trash the move. It's a good move that adds a depth piece to our bench. And Willie Cauley-Stein, that looks like he hasn't eaten a sandwich in 25 years, is now no longer on the team. He didn't even make it to the end of his 10-day contract. So it's a good move. It's not going to change whether we win a title or not. It's going to be a move that helps us, but it's not going to be the final defining factor of it. And people are so overreacted to it.
It's the Philly way, extremes. There's always extremes. We see it on every level in every sport. Like, we see it with Jalen Hurts. We see it with Doc Rivers. We see it with, Bryce Harper. We see it with now DeAndre Jordan. Like, honestly,
the one positive I'll say about DeAndre Jordan, he played with Brooklyn last year with James Harden, and the two of them had a really good pick and roll chemistry. Where the one thing DeAndre Jordan does two things well: rebounds and alley oops. And with James Harden, you need pick and roll guys that are going to alley oop. They've already got that chemistry. It'll be easy to mix Jordan into the equation when you have Harden on the floor and Embiid not on the floor, because they already know how to work together in the style of offense that James Harden needs to play.
Absolutely. I mean, to steal your word, this is a decent ancillary move that helps the team. Let's not overreact and say that oh my God, it's the best move ever. Like, right. It's called an ancillary move for a reason.
It'll help. It's not the answer, but it'll help. I'm still a little disappointed we haven't added a shooter to our bench. But as you see, I mean, I've actually been kind of pleasantly surprised with some of the side pieces on our bench. Shake Milton isn't great, but, once in a rare blue moon, he plays well. But you really don't need him for much, especially if you split Harden and Maxey up for bench minutes and stuff like that. Korkmaz is still terrible. He's having one of his worst stretches of his career. But everybody bashing get Korkmaz off this team. People forget Korkmaz can get hot. Korkmaz, Furkan, has shown plenty of moments in his career. He's at an all-time low right now. That just means in 2 or 3 games, you're going to see Korkmaz go 4 for 4, 5 for 5 off the bench. And everybody's going to be loving the Turkish MJ again. So when you have the big 3, big 4 that we have, which we're going to get into Tobias Harris in a second here, when you have that big 3, big 4, you don't need Korkmaz scoring 15 points a game. You don't need Shake Milton putting up 10 shots a game. You don't need any of that. So why people are overreacting again, first off, we've won 4 in a row, 3 straight with James Harden in the lineup. People need to relax a little bit and enjoy the ride and stop dissecting Furkan Korkmaz or Shake Milton or Tobias Harris, who is getting a lot of hate. Dude, we are 3-0 since James Harden here. We've won games by double digits every single game.
And we beat the Bucks without Harden.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, relax.
Stop.
These not all 12 guys that see the court need to score 25 points a game. Not all 12 guys need to shoot 90% from 3.
The problem is that when you have a team that's doing so well, everyone always wants more. Like, everyone just expects, like you said, it's an extreme town, dude. We do this in Philly all the time. Like, people want or think that this team's going to score 150 points a game now, and that's not happening. I mean, could they eclipse 150? Yeah, I think they could with the way that they're, this team is built.
Yeah, they're shooting lights out right now. I mean,
the bottom line is if Embiid and Harden each score 28 points a game from here on out, they're winning a championship. Dude, 28 points a game from 2 players is
throwing 20 plus from Maxey on top of that?
Exactly. Like, that's just icing on the cake. I mean, honestly, I am absolutely stoked about this team. Like,
I think I saw the stat in the 3 games, the big 3 has averaged like 81 points a game.
Yeah.
You don't need it. So guys, relax. As long as Doc Rivers doesn't throw out the all bench lineup, which he did do the first game, he hasn't done it since. As long as he doesn't do that, you're always going to have 2 of the big 4 on there. And Tobias Harris, hey, guys, come on. I know he shot 5 of 10 last game, 2 of 3 from deep. Maybe he's starting to turn a corner. But you don't need 20 points from him. You don't. If he can knock down 2 out of 3 3-point shots every game, give you 30 solid minutes, 35 minutes, play half decent defense, guys, that's all you need.
Yeah, I mean,
and then the one game that Max is off or Harden's off, maybe he steps up his game. But guys, not everybody's going to figure it out and play right. But guys, 3 in a row with James Harden, 4 in a row overall. Relax.
As Aaron Rodgers said,
relax. The slander is just driving me nuts. It just is. It's just frustrating as hell.
You're irked.
I am irked. It's grinding my gears.
It's grinding your ire.
Something like that. It's grinding something. All right, so Cavaliers tonight, they're 7-point favorites. Does the winning streak continue tonight at home?
Yes, my
Do
boss
they
will
cover
be
the
in it.
7-point spread? Is it another double-digit win?
I don't know about double digits, but they're definitely gonna win tonight.
Yeah.
My boss is gonna be in attendance. He got tickets. He's all excited to see
Taking
the
you?
beer.
I mean, I know you're on the Batman, but if he wanted to take you, you'd probably go, right?
He's taking his wife, but
Oh, well.
I can't outrank that.
I mean, you could try. Yeah, I mean, tonight's game, I would like it to be a closer game. I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them have
7-point win.
what?
I call a 7-point win.
Okay, so you hitting it on the number, which is a push. So I'm gonna go 8 then. I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go 6. I'll go 6-point win. But I want to see it close down the stretch because I want to see them. Let's be honest. All these games come crunch time, they haven't had to make any key shots or whatnot. So I'd like to see it be close down the stretch, and then see them pull away and all, and have to play. I don't want to see them have to empty the bench out tonight. I want to see them face a tough game. Look, the one thing that they've struggled at, if you look at the Sixers' record this year, they're a much better road team than home team, which is really weird because the Sixers are always a great home team. And, it's something that I think can definitely change over the next couple of weeks with Harden and playing better and all. I mean, you think about it, they're 21-10 on the road, but only 17-13 at home. And that includes winning this past, game against the Knicks. That's odd for the Sixers. So I want to see them win tonight against the Cavaliers, continue building that stretch at home. And, dude, that place is going to be electric again Friday night tonight. A Friday night at the center, James Harden, Cavaliers, a really good playoff team. It's not the Knicks, it's the Cavaliers. It's a playoff team, not a dumpster fire team. The place is going to be rocking tonight. And I want to see the win. I want to see it tonight. Then they go tomorrow night and they play the Heat. Is it the Heat tomorrow night or is it the Bulls tomorrow night? So I want to make sure I got the right schedule up here before I say it. So it's tonight. Oh man, I hit the wrong button again. Damn it. Sorry. I'm not very computer literate here.
You're all right.
So computer literate. I am computer illiterate. So it's Cleveland tonight at home, Miami tomorrow night on the road on a back-to-back. That's really tough. I could see them dropping to Miami. Miami's a really good team, but also back-to-back on the road. That is very tough. Then they get Sunday off, and then Monday they'll be playing the Bulls. We'll be recapping and previewing it then on Monday. Let's even take the Brooklyn Thursday out of the equation. Do they get 2 out of 3 wins here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
I think they win tonight, they lose tomorrow, and then they win Monday.
All right. We'll find out. We'll find out Monday if we're right or wrong or what. So, interesting. All right. We're going to get back to football here. We're going to recap. I need to do a rapid fire draft here, Jason. We got to keep it up. This would be mock draft 3.0. And let's pull up my mock draft on the screen here. You did it. We've done what would Jason do. We've done what would Howie do. So we're going to go with what would I do here, I guess, today, right? Is that fair enough? Can I make my selections today?
Yeah, with no trades though.
Yeah, no. I know.
Okay.
Next week we'll start.
The next one will allow trades.
Well, next one we'll start working trades into the equation. But I'm gonna fire the draft the draft machine up here, and let's see what we got here. So, first off, got lots of interesting names on the board here. I wanted to see who was taken where. So this one we got Aiden Hutchinson, Thibodeau, as expected, Andrew Booth, Kyle Hamilton, 4. Man, that's sometimes you see him going 4, sometimes you see him going 10. Matt Corral, I can see the Panthers taking a quarterback for sure. And Karlaftis all the way up at 8. That's a shame. Olave, 10. Another quarterback in the top 11, Sam Howell. Wow. All right, Sauce Gardner goes at 14. That's where when Sauce Gardner falls to 13, I'm trying to make that trade to get him. All right. So what would I do is the question, right? So how would I run this draft? I want the edge. I'm taking the best defensive end. And on a side note here, Howie did say in his presser this week, the edge. It's such a he mentioned it multiple times how important improving their defensive end position is. So not only is it what I would do, I really think it's going to be what Howie does, whether he takes the best available at 15 or if he moves up to get somebody else. But he is taking a defensive end with the first pick. And what would I do with the second pick? I'm going to take the best linebacker on the board as well. So I got a Joby and I got Lloyd. I've done that. And now you look at it, and the board is still stacked. I'm at pick 19. I still got Jamison Williams, the wide receiver. I still got the backup center. I got a quarterback. Ooh, I got a quarterback right there. But I think I got to take the best lineman in the draft off the board right there. So I'm taking him. But what do you think so far? 15, 16, and 19. Ajobi, Lloyd, and addressing our line right there with him.
I love it.
Not only is it a good draft, I think it's good both on all aspects of it. All right, so now we're at 51. Let's see who this guy is. He's a 3-4 defensive end. We're not really a 3-4 team. Sam Williams, 6'4", 265. Athleticism. That's a Howie move. Yeah. Now I don't know what to do here. Now I'm confused. Now I want to make a trade, which I'm not allowed to do. We're not taking another linebacker. I'm just going to go with it. I wanted to draft 2 edge, so we're drafting 2 edge rushers there with my draft. Now we can start filling in the rest of this team as the draft board goes on. All right, so we're at 83 here. We'll take the best cornerback on the board, Kyle Gordon, 6 foot, 200-pound cornerback, explosive, fluid mover, great with his hips. You love to see a cornerback with great hips. I'm just addressing every position of need now. 123, tight end, running back, tight end, linebacker. We're going to go tight end probably. I just got to find a good-sized tight end. Scheme open reception takes by. Let's see. I just want to see what his size is here. I like big tight ends. And we're going to go 6'5", 250. That's as big of a tight end as you can get right there. So we're going to go with the top tight end on the board. All right. People don't understand how much we need another tight end right now. Everyone thinks we're pretty locked in at tight end. All right, so now we're at 154. We need a safety. I love the name, so we are going to go with it, even though there's no profile. Mr. Smoke Monday. We need a young safety. All right, now we go here. What are we going to do here?
Where's George, by the way?
George has been MIA this week.
I know.
He doesn't like all the basketball talk. We've been doing way too much basketball talk for him this week. So, he kind of took a back seat there this week. So it is what it is. We'll see George again when we get more.
He's not in here bashing your picks.
Yeah, I mean, he, like me, probably doesn't even know who half these picks are. All right, we need a running back. We're going to go with a Michigan running back here. And this is a rapid fire draft. I'm not even putting any thought into this whatsoever here. Now we got more running backs available. I don't want another running back. I think I've got multiple linebackers already taken. We're going to go with another. We'll go with the wide receiver. We haven't taken a wide receiver yet. We'll take a wide receiver. Always got to draft a wide receiver. All right, that's that. Let's see how this draft ended up for me here. Once it finishes running here. All right. So here's my board, Jason. I think the top end of my board, my first 3 picks. If you gave me Ajobi, Lloyd, and Linderbaum in any order, those 3, you telling me we wouldn't be excited as Eagles fans?
Why wouldn't you? You addressed your defense, and you got an offensive lineman to replace Kelsey. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know how people.
I don't see it playing out that way. I don't see Linderbaum being there at 19 the way people are talking about him. He won't be there at 19. Yeah, I mean, how you cannot be excited about that? I think it's a home run would be the right term.
I mean, honestly, when I did my draft, I would have went the same way, but Ajobo was gone. So I had to go Lloyd with my first pick, and then I had Linderbaum there. But my point is my goal would be to get Ajobo and Lloyd.
Yeah.
They're my 2 targets. They
have to be. But you even heard how he made a comment yesterday or the other day when he spoke about how they have to address the linebacker position. So you're hearing Howie start to tweak what he says in press conferences. I think he's almost evolving and finally realizing his flaws. It's taken him 20 years, but I think he's starting to learn his flaws and make slight adjustments. And I don't know if it's just him evolving and getting better and learning from his mistakes, or maybe Nick Sirianni's in his ear a little bit more and helping him along. I'm not sure what it is. Or maybe he's just being more confident in himself, where he's realizing he doesn't have to outsmart everybody and just he knows to take the best player at all times. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's pretty exciting how it's played out for him, in the last year or so.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, I think this is definitely the year that's going to make or break Howie. considering all the assets he has and what he could possibly come out of this year having as far as with this team. And then let's not forget free agency. I mean, they have a lot of money to spend. So you're gonna want to, obviously, once you do free agency, then you're gonna see where you're at that point as far as needs and addressing them.
Yeah.
And
actually, as soon as free agency, after the first week of free agency, the mock draft after that will be what will, mock draft 4.0 or 5.0 post free agency. What the Eagles do will change how we feel about the mock drafts as well. So that's a good point right there. All right.
I think you and I both agree. I mean, obviously, I would never doubt Howie taking a wide receiver in the first round, but I think their goal, if you look at this team, the goal is to address wide receiver in free agency. And I don't think we're looking at it necessarily with open eyes, because I could see them actually getting 2 wide receivers. That's how bad this wide receiver.
I agree with you on that. I was saying, sign or trade for one. Whether you're signing,
Calvin Ridley,
trading for Ridley or whatever.
I mean, Calvin Ridley would definitely be a guy that I would love.
Absolutely,
but
I agree with you.
It's going to depend on what you would have to give up to get him. I don't. Is he that available too? I mean, there's all rumors, and it's all rumors at this point. Because if I'm Atlanta, realistically, would you want to get rid of Calvin Ridley when he's
on the last year of his deal? You lose him potentially, and he didn't play. Maybe if you can get good enough, value in return, they've got to start considering about rebuilding there in Atlanta.
No, I got that. I think Calvin Ridley is a talent and I know a lot of people are so focused on the mental aspect of it, but I mean, listen, dude, a lot of people have mental issues. Lane Johnson just went through mental issues.
Yeah.
Are we saying, the Eagles should move on from him? Absolutely not. Everyone has mental issues. These are human beings. Mental issues happen everywhere. Does that mean that just because the guy has a mental issue, you're going to say, well, we're not trading for him? You don't know what was going on in the guy's head. Maybe he's just not happy in Atlanta. Maybe he wants out. Yeah. I could sure as hell tell you that he would probably love to play with his buddy Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, agreed. But I also think that, you keep bringing up DJ Chark as a guy. You could see the Eagles going out and spending money on Chark and Allen Robinson easily. And then all of a sudden the offense changes completely. Jalen Hurts becomes a better quarterback because of it. And then all of a sudden I could see the Adobe and Lloyd first-round picks being the picks they make. I mean, I still want to make sure they have enough money left over to get Marcus Williams from the Saints as safety. But then if you spend all your money on offense, then maybe you take 2 of those first-round picks and move up and get Karlaftis or go after Kyle Hamilton.
That's what I would do. Safety. Bingo. Now you're speaking my language.
If you have a successful start to free agency with your offense, then you can start maneuvering some of those picks. Instead of trading them into 2023, you can start maneuvering them to move up in 2022 and making your defense more elite immediately. It's
you're
things
speaking my language, Bill.
I'll actually say, if you don't make a trade for like a Calvin Ridley, it's just all free agency and draft. My goal, I would love free agency to give me Allen Robinson, DJ Chark, and Marcus Williams. And then you take your 2 first-round picks, you trade up, and you go get one of the elite edge rushers. And all of a sudden, you get an elite edge rusher, a veteran, young, 25-year-old safety. You put 2 weapons around. If you go out there with Devontae Smith, Allen Robinson, DJ Chark, and then throw Quez Watkins as your 4, well, all of a sudden, that 9-win team might be a 10 or 11-win team.
I mean, do the math. I always say, I would rather the team address offense in free agency and address defense in the draft, because I think the important positions that we always talk about generally are so much easier to get in the draft. Because think about it. Once defensive ends are on their second contract, their price tag is immense. Same with defensive tackles. I mean, that price tag is, at that position is a premium. So you want to get your guy in the draft, because then you're not taking up all that cap space for a guy that realistically is the most important person on your team. Unfortunately for the Eagles, obviously Derek Barnett didn't become what we expected him to become. I'm with you, man. You know what I want. I want to move up for one of those elite edge rushers. I think this team has not had an elite edge rusher in forever. I mean, I would not even consider guys like Hugh Douglas. He wasn't elite. He was good.
He's really good,
but he wasn't elite. We have not had that in so long, dude. I mean, obviously, I don't see a Reggie White coming out anytime soon. I mean, that's like a generation.
Wasn't that what Dirk Barnett was supposed to be?
But
he wasn't.
I would be thrilled if that happened, Phil, what you just talked about, because I think it's the right way to
make you happy.
Well, it's the right way to go. Sign
Absolutely.
the guys in offense in free agency, and then use the capital that you have instead of everyone wants to use the capital to get a quarterback. How about we use it to get a defensive end that can actually play at an elite level? Something that, like you said, this team has severely missed over and over and over. And you look at all these elite teams that make the playoffs. What do they have in common? Besides having a good quarterback, they also have elite defensive ends.
Right. All right. Well, we got to wrap the show up for the day there. Trending in the AM. Another successful week of Trending in the AM. Fantastic job as always this week, Jason. We'll be back on Monday, Overreaction Monday. Mark Moschatelli will be back with us. We got so much to talk about again on Monday. It'll be a blast overreacting to the Sixers' big wins this weekend and everything else going on in sports. Hey, Jason, it's always a blast, brother.
Absolutely.
So how do we end the
and
show
how
now?
are we ending it?
Sixers 5, baby.